Happy Saturday, everyone. I'm so excited to be able to present this topic, which is the 5 apologies every caregiver should memorize. I am recording this call. We may have some people joining us a little bit late. I'm going to share my screen with you now, and we will get started right away. There will be a time for question and answers at the end if there are any questions. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. All right. Here we go. So again, this will be recorded. I will be able to send out a link to you. So the 5 apologies every caregiver should memorize. Today, we're going to talk and do a little bit of housekeeping. Whenever you join a meeting, we'll have an agenda here. So we're going to do some housekeeping. I'll do a brief introduction of myself, the purpose of DCC, which stands for Dementia Caregiver Coaching. Today's topic is 5 apologies we should memorize. We are also going to look at some training videos from TIPA. I'm going to show you a personal cheat sheet that I will send out to you. And after the call, steps to apologizing, and then we'll just briefly look at what next week's topic is, which is substitution versus subtraction. All right. So my name is Michelle. I am a certified life coach and a certified trainer. So let me explain a little bit more about that. I knew I wanted to do some life coaching to help families navigate. I picked the most prestigious life coach school I could find. It has produced thousands of very successful life coaches. I did my research, and it was the most prestigious life coach I could find. It was not easy. It was very difficult, but I learned so much that I want to share with all of the families who are navigating this disease. Also, if you are aware of Teepa Snow, she is an expert in the field of dementia. I knew that I wanted to train with her as well and be able to be a certified trainer. So I am a certified life coach with the Life Coach School and a certified trainer with Positive Approach to Care, which is the name of Teepa's company. But my best experience is with dementia is not just these certifications, or even being part of a management team in an assisted living and memory care community, but rather, just like you, the time I spent with my mom who passed in 2019 from vascular dementia. At Dementia Caregiver Coaching, our purpose and our belief is that empowered caregivers empower caregivers. So it's the synergy between us learning and being empowering ourselves so that we can empower others. And that is our purpose and our belief, our mission here at Dementia Care Caregivers. So these are the 3 different ways that we are serving others and the services that we offer. So the first one is local placement for senior living. So if you're in the state of Utah, I tour with families who are looking for assisted living, independent care, memory care, any of those 3. And I help them with negotiating fees. I take them on tours. I set everything up and just explain the community, the weaknesses and strengths of each community. If you are not in the state of Utah, which many of you aren't, I can still, through coaching, be able to walk you through questions to ask as you are navigating this. And also I can help you with just questions to ask, how to negotiate, those types of things as well if you're not in the state of Utah. The second thing I do is that Dementia Caregivers Coaching is about teaching caregiver skills to the families and the professionals. So I go out into the communities, I train CNAs. I also assist families who either want to visit their loved one in communities, or their mission is to keep their loved one at home as much as possible. So those are the different ways that I help in teaching. Then, of course, life coaching is for the entire family. I have often gotten several family members on a Zoom call. It is through Zoom, it's virtual, and it just helps with navigating all the ups and downs, the expectations, concerns, and the family dynamics, which can get crazy during this time as well. But you're on a one-on-one situation or in a group where we learn together. And that's usually the way that we learn the fastest, is I bring you all into a group And we can discuss that more later. If that's something that you're interested in, and please let me know. So placement, teaching, and life coaching. So I want you to ask yourself, where did I show up with anger this week? And I had the title originally say, who made you mad this week? But in life coaching, you learn that the only person that you can control, no one makes you mad. Your anger comes from the thought you have about the situation or the person. So yes, somebody you could say, who made me mad this week? But really, when we discover it, it's actually us that makes ourselves mad as a reaction to what's going on around us. So I wanted to ask it a little bit differently, which is, where did I show up with anger this week? There's 3 things that you can do as you reflect back and look at your week. Number 1 is let go of the idea that relationships are perfect. So as you are caregiving, a lot of times there's a lot of shame and we're beating ourselves up. We need to let go of that and realize that this is difficult. This is hard. And we're not going to be perfect at this or perfect at being patient. So let go of the idea of perfection. The second thing is, don't push your agenda on others if you desire connection with that person. So we're going to be talking all situations right now as you are caregiving for someone with dementia. However, these skills apply to anyone we have communication relationships with. So you'll notice the picture here is a picture of me a few months ago on stage with Teepa Snow. And we were talking about agendas. When we push our agenda at someone, that means what we want to have happen. I want you to eat this. I want you to take a shower. I need you to get dressed right now. Anytime we are pushing our agenda at someone, and it's just as a kind of offensive as my hand here on the screen, what will happen is anytime someone comes to us with their agenda, a lot of times we'll push back. Even if we may agree with what needs to be done, we will push back. So then you get this pushing against each other, and that's where the collisions and the lack of communications, the angers show up, is when we are pushing our agenda at someone else. Then the third thing is to take responsibility. So if we see ourselves in a situation where we're feeling some anger, we take responsibility for that. We step back, we physically step back. That means when we are like this, we are more confrontative to people. We need to step back, maybe take our eyes and not be strictly looking them in the eye. Sometimes that comes across very confrontational as far as body language. So we can kind of look away as we're talking and not have that stare, I guess you would say. And then, so the eyes away, step back physically, eyes away. And we apologize, even if it wasn't your fault, with authenticity. So what does that mean? I'll show you a little bit more as we go along. But authenticity is something as opposed to, I'm sorry, which comes usually with a eye roll, a little bit of tone, a little bit of sass. Authenticity is, I'm sorry, I did this. I'm sorry. So why do we not apologize? Ask yourself, when I'm in a situation where I know I'm wrong, why don't I apologize? Typically it's because we're right fighters, or, we have to be right, or our pride or ego get in the way. Then ask yourself, why don't I apologize even though I know I'm not the one that's wrong? Why do I not apologize? And again, it usually comes into those being a right fighter, or having your own agenda and thinking that your way is the right way, and pride and things come into play, and the ego. So remember, let go. Don't push your agenda at someone. And then if you find yourself in an angry position, or they're angry, someone in the conversation is angry, step back, eyes away, and next comes apology. So that's what we'll talk about. This is some training from Teepa. She's talking again about agenda. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for us.
Between the two of you, because what you're doing is letting whatever you're worried about get between the relationship, and that's not going to help you in this case. Because what starts to happen is you don't even see the person. You're so busy being upset about whatever that is, you're forgetting about this relationship, which is the most important thing. Look at your person, really look at them now. Turn and look. I know. And here's what I'm going to have you say to him. You ready? I'm sorry, I was trying to help. Now, as soon as they say that, what happens? Your intensity goes way down because they're apologizing for really intruding. And it's an acknowledgement that what they did wasn't the right thing for you. And that's a real important thing to get out there. Now, let me show you the next slide. We've got some more words to practice. Okay, here's the second word you're going to practice. I'm sorry I made you angry. Try that one. I know. You're absolutely right. I had no business making you feel like that. So try that one. I'm sorry I made you angry. I'm sorry I embarrassed you. I'm sorry I made you feel stupid. I'm sorry I didn't mean to, but I treated you like a child. Now here's one of my favorites. I'm sorry. This is hard. Because what I'm acknowledging is this is really hard for me too. Because the person with dementia thinks we're in this and that we're not having a hard time. It is incredibly important that you say out loud how hard this is. Because if you don't tell me, you think I know, and I don't. All I know is you think you're the boss of everything. All I know is you seem to know everything I can't hang on to. All I know is every time I see you, you start. And you need to be able to say, I'm sorry, Mom. This is really hard. And sound like you mean it. And you'll be amazed how many times people will immediately back down and say, I know it's hard for me too. And suddenly you're in a different place than you were. And that's because you were willing to do something different.
Yes. So I love how that is. We're going to move on to the next. So here's some communication tips, and then we're going to get into those 5 apologies that Teepa just gave us. In communicating with someone, this says Alzheimer's, and we have a whole course on Alzheimer's versus dementia, and so I won't get into that, but you can definitely substitute the word Alzheimer's, which is just a type of dementia. Dementia is kind of the overall term, and then there's several hundreds actually underneath the term dementia, Alzheimer's being the most popular, the one that more people have. So you could substitute Alzheimer's communication for dementia communication. So first one, never argue, instead agree. Never reason. Well, the reason I'm asking you to do this is because, okay, so instead of reasoning, we need to divert their attention. Like, hey, come with me. And not really thinking that you're going to reason with them why they need to take a shower, that it's been a week, why they need to eat so that their medication, none of that is going to register. So instead we divert. Never shame. What does that look like? Shaming would look like something like, you should take a shower. You haven't showered. You should eat this. You shouldn't do this. So anytime you see or hear yourself saying should or shouldn't, typically you're shaming on either yourself or them. So never shame, instead distract. Never lecture, instead reassure. Never say remember. Now this is a hard one because we want to say, remember, Mom, you have this going on. Remember when this happened? When we say the word remember, their brain starts trying to remember. And if it can't remember, it gets very excited, it gets confused, and the healthy or unhealthy part of their brain, the amygdala, is going to be set off, and then it's going to be hard to calm it down. So what you want to do is keep the brain from going into that spinning. And when you say something like remember, then when we say that, that tells them, their brain, to start spinning to remember. So instead you reminisce, you just say, oh, I remember this time that we did this and this. If you're talking about a family member, oh, I love my brother. I love my brother this. I love your son this, and tell more about it. I love your son, Blake. He was amazing, or he is amazing, something like that. Just reminiscing. I remember when we did this. Okay, 6, never say, I told you. Like, I told you this already. I told you just 5 minutes ago. Just 2 minutes ago, I told you. Instead, you want to repeat. Never say you can't. Instead, say what they can do. So, you can't make yourself a sandwich. You can help me with getting out 2 pieces of bread. You can't go outside. You can stay in here and watch this TV show with me. You can kind of get the idea of that. Never demand, instead ask. That's showing respect for the person. No one likes to be told what to do. They would rather be asked. You just need to make sure that what you're asking is sometimes not something, if it's not negotiable, you don't want to ask them, do you want to take a shower? They're probably going to tell you no. But you're going to then use some type of diversion or distraction, never reasoning to get them to shower. But you don't want to demand, you want to ask. Would you like a ham sandwich? Would you like a tuna fish sandwich? Give them choice. When they have just one thing, what do you want for dinner? Again, their brain's going to start going into confusion. Give them choice, ask. And here's a great one that will give you an example is when my mom, if you go in to wake someone up, you might want to go, hey, it's a beautiful sunny day, and open up their blinds. You want to say to them instead, hey, mom, it's beautiful outside. Would you like your blinds opened or closed? That gives you an example. Never condescend, telling them they're stupid or I can't believe you're doing this again. Instead, encourage them. And then 10, never force, but reinforce. So those are some communications. These are the 5 apologies, and this is how I remember the 5 apologies. I always have to look at the first letter if I'm trying to memorize something. So you'll notice there are 2 I's, intent and intellectual. There is 1 C, which is change, and there are 2 E's, which are emotion and experience. So I think of ice, okay? I'm in a situation, it's kind of, it's dicey, it's icy, right? So the first I, we got 2 I's on the front, a C in the middle, 2 E's. So if you can visualize that, that helps you memorize them. Then when you need to retrieve them, you're going to go, now, which one could I use? Oh, one of the I's, one of the E's, or the C. So the intent, what was your intention? I'm sorry. I was just trying to help. I'm sorry. I was just trying to get us to the car. So what was your intention? You apologize for that. I was just trying to help. The other I down here, intellectual capacity, this is like, I'm sorry, I had no right to make you feel that way. I had no right to make you mad. I had no right to make you sad. I had no right. So any thing that kind of goes with their intellectual. I had no idea to make I had no right to make you feel that way. Maybe you made them feel like they were stupid. They said, you just make me feel so stupid all the time. Then you would say, I'm sorry. I had no right to make you feel that way. Okay. Talking about their intellectual. Then let's go for the C, which is change. I'm sorry. This is hard. This is hard. Like these changes are hard and I hate this for you. So you're talking about the changes that they're going through. I'm sorry you can't drive. I know that's hard. I hate this for you. Okay. And then we've got emotion, which again is, I'm sorry I made you angry. I'm sorry I made you sad. I'm sorry I disappointed you or made you feel disappointed. Any of those emotions. And then experience is, I'm sorry that should not have happened. Maybe you lost your temper. Maybe it was, there was some kind of like something spilled, some type of experience happened, and you would say, I'm sorry, that should not have happened. Or you told so and so this and this about me. You told the doctor this or this. And instead of reasoning with them, well, yeah, I told the doctor that because of this, you would just say, I'm sorry, that should not have happened. So those are the 5 apologies: intent, intellectual, change, emotion, and experience. And you can see how she mentioned it just de-escalates things. And in the end, when you de-escalate things and you can have communication, then that's when you're going to have that connection. So here's some more training from Teepa I'm going to leave you with.
So when we talk about positive care techniques and these positive approach to care, hand under hand, physical approach, why is it so important? Because it makes a big difference. We are the piece that fills in the puzzle. We can't do it without them, but they can't do it without us. It's a combo. And by learning the skills that they're missing, suddenly things change dramatically. The person who has dementia has life because we know how to provide what they're missing, because it's not all gone. Something's there. We've got to use what they still have. And that's what these techniques, these skills allow us as care partners to do. And that's what we're talking about. Doing it differently so they can be successful and we can be included.
Okay, we'll show more of that clip at a different training. This is your personal cheat sheet. So I will be sending this out after the call. What I would like you to do is in intent, in your own words, what would you say for an apology for intent? I meant to, I'm sorry. I meant to help. Maybe that's the one that you use. Emotion, I'm sorry I made you mad. I'm sorry I made you sad. Write a few different ones that you could do. And then just keep this somewhere, personal, where you can just, when you have, because you will, a situation where there's an escalation, where there's anger on one or both parts, you'll be able to, after the situation, say, gosh, that shouldn't have happened, right? So what could I do differently? It's doing something different. It's using what they have instead of looking what they don't have anymore. So that would be one of the emotions. I'm sorry I made you mad. I'm sorry I lost my patience. I'm sorry I made you feel, any emotion. Intellectual is I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made you feel less than or like a child. You'll definitely hear, you are treating me like a child. I am the mother here. So you'd say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to treat you like a child. You are my mother. Okay. Which is hard to do. We have to swallow our pride and we're not going to be perfect at it. Experiences that should not have happened. Like, I'm sorry. I should not have talked to my brother until I talked to you about it. And whatever it is, de-escalating the experience that they are frustrated about. And then change is just, I'm sorry, this is such a change for you. I hate this for you. So those are the 5 apologies. Next week, we're going to talk about substitution versus subtraction. So many times when they're doing things, they're losing their memory. So there's subtraction, right? They're losing their skills. They're losing so much. And then we come in, sometimes the driving privileges, sometimes it's their freedom, their independence. They're losing all these things. Maybe it's even their ability to move and they're not as ambulatory as they could be. And here is where we get to come in and help with substitution as opposed to subtraction. We'll be talking about those. And then also coming soon, I just wanted you to know that we will be offering these Zoom calls every Saturday. And I also have group coaching coming soon and one-on-one coaching. And those, there will be a cost associated with those options when they're available. And soon you will have an opportunity to be able to sign up for a wait list to be notified when those options are available. So, but the Zoom calls on Saturday will always be free. I may even be adding one in the evening hours because Saturdays in the summer can often be very busy. So I'm looking at adding an evening call, and it would be the same subject that week, either a Monday night, say, or a Saturday morning. So that is what we have coming up. I just want to thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for joining. Thank you for what you are doing for your loved ones. This is my mom. You look into the eyes of those that are in later stages of dementia and you can see concern, worry. We're there to do something different. And again, let go of the perfection. Just keep trying new things and educating yourself. And remember that empowered caregivers empower caregivers. So it doesn't look like we have any questions in the chat today. I want to thank you again for your time. We will see you next Saturday. We will be talking about substitution versus subtraction. And so we'll see you then. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and we will talk to you soon.